Alright, this video is a little bit of a different speed here. So I haven't been on a first date in over 2 years. Not a kind of first date, but a real one. And somehow the first one back happens to land right on Valentine's Day, which was not planned. It just happened that way. And I didn't realize how nervous I could still get until it was actually on the calendar. Like, it's not just the first date, it's the first one after a long relationship, my longest relationship. I think what makes this one different is that it feels like a marker. It's the first time in over 2 years that I'm showing up to something with no history, no comfort, and no like predisposed understanding. I don't know if I use that word right, but you know what I mean. You know, it's just me as I am now. And the fact that it's on Valentine's Day just adds this weird pressure. Even though we didn't plan it that way, it just kind of feels symbolic almost. Like it means more than it probably does, but it makes it feel higher stakes when it really shouldn't be. Over text, it's easy. You know, she gets my humor. We bounce off each other naturally. She's interesting, thoughtful, but, you know, there's always that fear that it doesn't translate in person. Like, what if the rhythm feels different or there's long pauses of silence that feel kind of loud, you know? You get this, like, anxiety spike. And I don't know why first dates hit my anxiety so hard. Like, I'm 23 years old, but it's like my brain flips into overdrive. I've been on plenty of first dates, but I start thinking about everything. Like, what if I say something awkward? Or what if I don't know what to talk about? Or, like, what if I run out of things to talk about? Like, what if I come off different than I do over text? I don't want to seem like I'm faking it, you know? It's rational, but it feels very real. Like, you always want to make a good impression. There's this pressure to show up as the best version of yourself, but, you know, not too polished like you're perfect. You don't want to be rehearsed. You just want to be like effortlessly good, effortlessly funny, and, you know, on your cues all the time. And that's a weird balance because the more you try to be impressive, the less natural you feel. But, you know, beneath all of it, there's genuine excitement. Underneath all the anxiety, I'm super excited. She's from Costa Rica, so I'm gonna definitely ask her about her culture and her upbringing and her experiences and, you know, how she sees the world compared to me. And the curiosity feels real. I don't want anxiety to overshadow that. Like, I want to make sure I ask her and really get to know her and about her upbringing. You know, I always have this fear of sabotaging something good because it's something I've done in the past. Like, when you really like someone, fear shifts. It's not just like I hope it goes well. It's I hope I don't mess it up. You know, I start overanalyzing things before they even happen, imagining mistakes that haven't even occurred, and it gets pretty exhausting at times. I think part of it is just being, like, you know, out of practice. When you're in a long relationship, you forget what it's like to introduce yourself again. Uh, you know, tell stories again and let someone see you from scratch. And there's vulnerability in that. Like, I've changed a lot since my last relationship, so this is kind of like a test run for who I am now. What I really want is for it to feel the same in person. You know, not perfect. It doesn't have to be magical. I just want it to be real and easy. Like, neither of us are trying too hard. We're just in the moment, and it feels like I need it to feel like that. And I think that'd just be enough. I'm starting to think that, you know, maybe the nerves aren't a bad sign. Maybe they just mean that I actually really do like this girl and I really do care and I really want it to go well. And maybe it's not something I should fight. It's just something I need to manage. Because at the end of the day, I can't control whether we connect in person. I can't control how she feels, and I can't control whether it turns into something. The only thing I can control is who I show up as and showing up honestly and letting it be whatever it's going to be. I've also been thinking, you know, if I wasn't nervous, what would that say? You know, because it could mean I don't care, or maybe it means that I've detached from intimacy. I said that in a previous video, but I don't think that's what this is. The nerves are there because I'm invested, you know, because there's potential. And maybe that's not something to be embarrassed about. I have this pressure of wanting it to work, and that's a huge part of the anxiety. You know, not in the this has to be forever, this has to be marriage, but like just in a way like I really wanted to go somewhere. And, you know, wanting something to work, it makes you feel like you could lose something before you even had it. I keep reminding myself I don't need to be a perfect version of me. I don't need to deliver perfection. I don't need perfect jokes, perfect stories, or timing. I just need vulnerability and realness. Because if we connect, it'll be because of who I am, not because I executed the night. And we've been texting a little bit, and we both mentioned how we're, you know, a little nervous. So I know it's not just me. She's meeting someone she's only known through a screen and only after a week or two. And I think she hopes the vibe will translate as well. You know, it's not me being evaluated. It's two people figuring each other out and seeing where this goes. And that makes it feel less one-sided. Because even if it doesn't click, it's still growth. It's still progress. It's still me putting myself out there. It's still me trying. And after 2 years of not doing this, that alone shows a little bit of growth, I think. I've been also trying to separate, fear from intuition. Also, I notice I say a lot before a sentence. I just did it a fucking again. It just happens. It rolls out. It's just a cue I have, like a cadence, a tick almost. Anyways, sometimes, all right, Jesus Christ. Sometimes anxiety is just like your body reacting to something that matters, not something dangerous. The goal isn't to impress, it's to connect. If I can just focus on being present and in the moment, listening, asking questions, listening to ask questions, not listening to answer and talk about myself, actually enjoying the moment, I think that'll be enough. It doesn't need to be impressive, it just needs to be real. At the end of the day, I just don't want to overthink it. I don't want to turn into something bigger than it is. It's just a first date, two people meeting, and maybe the goal isn't to be impressive, it's just to be present, nervousness, and everything. If it's meant to click, it will, and if it doesn't, I think I'll be okay.